Hello plant friends. So we are continuing our tour with Darylen and we are looking what's inside her grow tent today. Grow tents, you know, not as cool these days as those IKEA Millsbo cabinets, but they really get the job done. And if you guys are enjoying these types of tours, definitely consider becoming a Patreon, and thank you so much for my current Patreons for all the support. Let's go.
This is the grow tent, and for all of those aesthetic queens out there who are thinking to themselves like, oh my god, grow tents are so ugly. I mean, really can't argue with the results.
There's a lot of varieties of grow tents. Let's just talk about the grow tent in general.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of companies that sort of make something very similar to this.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason you like this one, or any thoughts about the other brands?
This one was $69. That was what mainly attracted me to it.
Solid.
And also I don't have a lot of space. So I needed one that was going to fit in my space, and most of the other brands, they're quite a bit longer. So I kind of had to go with what was going to fit, but I have no complaints about this. I think in general, a lot of people who think they want a Millsbo, what they really need is a grow tent. And this whole setup, lights, shelf, tent, fan, hydrometer, everything, like $120.
Wow.
And I had it in 2 days and set it up in a day. And it's just a huge game changer. I mean, the stuff that's in here. Look at this Queen Anthurium. I'll bring her out. And I don't know about anyone else, but I've been personally victimized by Queen Anthurium a lot. And when I got this plant, it was like, it almost immediately just started melting down. And the grow tent saved it. It came with no roots. And this is like one of the original leaves. It had a leaf that was like almost 2 feet long, and I mean, she's back, you know, and she's got tons of roots and she's super happy. So I would have lost this plant without the tent, to be real, you know. And I've got some other really cool Anthurium in here. I've got let me just put this back.
Oh, is that the mint Adansonii?
Yeah. It's big.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that thing is huge.
Yeah, that's for the shop.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. This is another plant from Enid. This is Anthurium Wendlingeri.
Yeah.
Future long boy.
Ooh.
This is the one that when they mature and they flower, the inflorescence is a spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe that I found this because I'd never seen them for sale, let alone from NSE.
Sweet.
So I'm really pleased to have this. I mean, this is probably not going to be, you know, propagatable for many years. It's a baby, but do you want me to pull out the Adansonii?
If you can,
Yeah,
I think that would be cool. I haven't seen that many mint Adansonii in real life.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. So there's like an Indonesian mint variegated Adansonii, and I don't think this is one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is for the shop.
Okay. I mean, I'm definitely convinced that this looks quite different from the typical typical variegated Adansonii.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah.
But I love, like, the newer leaf comes in a bit more cream. And then it fades down to more green.
What a specimen, though.
Like, is this not? When I had the opportunity to buy this, I was like, take my money.
Yeah, what a specimen. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
And that's the other thing, too, about the grow tent, is that look at these aerial roots that it's just shooting out. Like, you don't even have to air layer it. It just shoots them out, you know?
Yeah, that's what, like, really, like, high humidity enclosures really do. It just promotes the aerial roots so much.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that I can grow in here, you know, is just wonderful.
I mean, just providing that mint Adansonii with an optimal grow environment is well worth the value, whatever you paid for this setup.
$69.
Right. Solid. Right. You'll make your money back. Sweet.
I think this plant honestly would do just fine out in open air, but because it is for the shop and I do want to be able to share it with as many people as possible, I want to give it that extra oomph.
Right, and the extra aerial roots will speed up any propagation plans you want to make in the future.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably gonna do them in Adansonii giveaway at some point.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, people are gonna be happy for that one.
That.
That's nice. Very nice.
So this is a really interesting plant. This is Philodendron Hybrido Felix.
Huh.
I think it is an Equigenera creation, but yeah, this is like an ultimate plant nerd, plant collector plant.
It gives me like Bilite vibes, like the Adaponensi vibes.
Yeah, it does actually. My friend, when she saw it, she was like, "Is that a Furcatum bilietiae cross?" It's not. But yeah, this is a really rare plant. You cannot get these.
Yeah, I think the specialness I feel is these little ripples along the midrib that you really don't get with the other plants. Yeah. Yeah, these ripples are very interesting.
Yeah, I actually got this plant. I mean, for the shop, eventually I hope to offer them, but I got this plant because a friend of mine really, really, really wanted it, and he had things I wanted, so. Pro tip, if your friends have things you want, find out what they want and buy that. So this is a really special plant, but this plant down here, it may not look like much, but this is probably the most special plant in this house. This is Philodendron Lightning Eye, and they're really, really rare. They're really hard to find. I don't know. I honestly had to hustle to get this plant.
Wow.
And unfortunately, it doesn't have any new growth for you guys right now, which is too bad. But when the new leaves come out, they're like this cherry, strawberry red. Like they almost look like they're made of like Laffy Taffy or something. It's incredible. And this plant is definitely for the shop. I'm hoping to eventually be able to offer these. I mean, so far it hasn't been a super fast grower, but it's been rooting really nicely.
Yeah.
When I got it, from import, it had no roots. So the grow tent is honestly, it's just saving things that arrive with no roots. But this is a very special plant. This is a plant I never thought I would see in person. But yeah. So, but this is another plant nerd plant that a lot of people are like, oh, I could just get a Philodendron Nangarotens. It's kind of similar, but these are cool.
Do most of your imports go into an environment like this? At least ideally? Yeah.
It kind of depends. Usually, sometimes I'll just, with the vining philodendron, sometimes I'll just snip them at every node and stick them in water. The chacos don't need to go in here. But, yeah, anything Anthurium for the most part goes in here. And it's just a really excellent tool to give things kind of a head start. This plant, so this is a Syngonium Thai Pink Splash, and this is the only survivor of the Indonesia import order. And this, the grow tent saved this plant. So, yeah.
Yeah, I always questioned importing Syngoniums, but apparently they do pretty well.
Yeah, the only survivor of that was this one, and then I had 2 Syngoniums where the nodes were salvageable that I'm trying to revive, and 1 Philodendron Adabapoense. But yeah, they got a reputation for being terrible importers, but this plant is fully alive. So I'm pleased with that. And Syngonium do really well in pond and hydroponics in general.
So why do you have, how do you decide between, you have some in moss, you have some in hydro, you have some in pond?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me pull out a couple Anthuriums for text so that people aren't bored.
Oh.
It's fine. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. See, pulling things in and out of the grow tent, you gotta be more careful. I'll add some more perlite to that. So, for me, it's just kind of trial and error, and you learn which plants do best in what. For Anthurium, I've had 100% success with everything except Queen Anthurium. I have a whole other thing. Don't try to do this with a queen. You'll probably not get good results. But for Anthurium, I've had 100% success after importing them, putting them in moss, and then bottom watering the moss when it dries out and just putting them in the grow tent. And before I got the grow tent, I used to do the same thing, but I just put them on a heat mat instead. Same thing, 100% success. So that's knowledge that it was a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And it's these kinds of things that I know, okay, I've gotten to 100% success with rooting Choco. I've gotten to 100% success with rooting Anthurium. That is the kind of place you want to be before you really start importing plants to sell. So, yeah, this is Anthurium Kermelens, and this is Anthurium Cyrenoi Velvet.
Ooh. I mean, I like both of these.
Right?
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They're beautiful.
Ooh, geez, yeah. I mean, you don't hear people talk too much about those, but they, wow.
Yeah, this is a rare plant. Like,
wow.
you can't. So I've only ever seen this plant in one place. I've never seen it in Southeast Asia. This one, I've seen it at multiple growers in South America, but it's always like inbox for price. I actually got this plant at the Aquagenera pop-up, and that's the tag. But the cool thing about this plant was it's actually 2 plants.
Sweet. Oh, this is a great. Ooh, so good.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good, and yeah, it has actually 2 growth points, which is exciting.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take for this plant to really grow up, but I mean, I do hope to offer them eventually, but...
I mean, honestly, like, the leaves look, I mean, that's as good as you can expect from an import, you know? I mean, goodness. Goodness.
This is the grow tent, like I'm telling you, you know, and it's just shooting out roots like no one's business, like all that down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's all new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so highly recommend a grow tent. I mean, if you think you need a Mills bow, but you're struggling with your plants, like what you really need is probably a grow tent. And this is an Antherium Metallicum.
Oh, yeah, I have one of those.
I love these.
I like them too. Yeah.
I think that these are. I think these really still are a rare plant.
I think they're just really underrated.
I don't think they're underrated at all. I think
Oh,
people really want them. They're really still a very rare plant.
Oh.
They're really hard to find.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
I mean, you can find them domestically in the United States, but I mean, they're gonna be. I mean, a plant like this, I don't even know how much this would go for. A lot. Like, I've seen some pretty raggedy ones go for mid triple digits. I've only been able to find Antherium Metallicum at one exporter, and it's Aquagenera, and I've never seen them on the website. I got this at the pop-up, and so yeah, I think these really are a rare plant still. And I don't know if that's because they're just more difficult to root or what, because of all the Anthurium in there. This one hasn't rooted yet, so we'll see. We'll see how she does. Looks like she's gutating a little bit, so I might need to treat her, but very beautiful nonetheless.
Sweet.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other little goodies in there if you want to like...
Yeah, let me just take a little browse of your very, very simple setup here that you have.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pond props and some leca props, moss props.
Yeah. A lot of these too are just kind of experiments to see how things do.
What did you have to add to the grow tent? You have I see you have a light.
There's 2 lights in there. Yeah, it's kind of just whatever you want to use. I like these lights because they keep the plants super dark. You absolutely 100% need a fan. That's not optional. And then I just have this little $8 hydrometer. This tent is normally like 95% plus. It's just, you know, the door's been open a while.
And okay, so you have one light up here, and then you have another light down here.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can definitely see how these lights with arms and stuff are benefiting your plant.
Yeah, and there's tons of different ways you can do it. You know, you could get the ones that like the ones I have on my shelf. You could totally put in here as well, because the grow tent has these kind of holes on like all three sides and on the top.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
I just run my cords through there.
Oh, okay, then they go outside your tent.
So you can use any light, any fan. It's really worth it, and it's really easy. It's way less hassle than a Mills bow, and I know that there's people out there who are, you know, all about the aesthetics and they want the Mills bow for the aesthetics, but I mean, I get it. They look great, but at the end of the day, if it's about growing the plants, you really need a grow tent. So
how long are the lights on in there?
because these lights are pretty like low intensity,
Yeah.
I mean probably like 16 hours a day.
Yeah, I think that's a great amount of time. Low intensity with longer duration.
Yeah.
And then I assume that the fan is always on?
Yes, the fan is always on, because I don't want to get like bacterial spots.
Yeah.
Airflow is really important, especially once you get up to higher humidity.
And with something like that, you don't need water trays, you don't need a humidifier in there. It just will naturally, it'll naturally just fill up from your media. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because I have so much moss in there. Once you get to bigger sizes, especially the ones that are like the size of this room, you probably do need a humidifier. But for something this size, I mean, no, it's really self-sustaining. I do want to make sure that I'm opening it at least once or twice a day, just so that, you know, it doesn't get too musty in there. But yeah, I mean, it's been really easy. And the other great thing about it is that things you put in here is like out of sight, out of mind. You know, you don't have to like worry about the clutter. I mean, like, look, there's so many little like things in there that just look so sad.
Yeah.
I don't have to see them, you know. So.
All right.
Yeah, that's my like sales pitch for grow tents.